This is David with Corel Training.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
the best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
So pass it away.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, September 6th, 2024. Can you believe it, Aaron?
No.
I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group, and my mission is to inspire you to build a business that you love. Today, Terry, we've got Sean Stewart from American Print Supply joining us. We're gonna grill him. No, we're always nice. We're always gentle. Sean knows that, right? But no, we're gonna talk to Sean. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in the DTF realm, and so we're gonna ask him about. We're all getting ready to head off to Printing United here coming up, and so what are we going to see? But what's kind of on the horizon? So, kind of the future of DTF is going to be our conversation today, Terry.
Absolutely excited about that. Excited about Printing United, but be sure and stay to the very end for the secret sauce. Aaron's going to give us the secret recipe to gain more confidence, efficiency, and success using clarity as your base ingredient. So looking forward to that.
Grandma's secret recipe. I want to pass it along. Put it in the regulator's capable hands here.
Handwritten, folded up, and
that's right. That's right. And you have to have the secret decoder ring, and I'll try to pass that along.
How much is a pinch?
Yeah, exactly. Just a dash. All right. And it's all with love, Terry. That's really the key ingredient.
What's the secret ingredient? Love.
Love. It's always is. All right. Well, hey, exciting for our news hit today too, Terry. We've got a new news program joining us, a good friend of ours that we've known for a long time, and he's off into a new venture here. And his name's Dan Barefoot, and his venture is really good stuff. He's doing an amazing job with it. World Imaging News. So we'll get you some details about how you can check that out and make sure that you're subscribed and following along over there. But Dan's going to come bring us, and he's going to do it a little bit differently to get his first start with us here, talking about some upcoming things at Printing United here. That's a lot in the news right now in our industry for sure. So I'm excited to welcome in Dan. Terry, how about you?
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear him.
All right. Well, let's do it, Eric.
Well, good morning, everyone. First of all, a huge thanks to Aaron and Terry for having me on the Two Regular Guys podcast. You know, I've been a listener for a while now, and I really appreciate the originality and insights they bring to the show. It's great to be here. As Aaron mentioned, I'm Dan Barefoot, the founder of World Imaging News, or as we call it, WIN. WIN is an online news portal with a simple mission: to provide timely industry updates, not just from the U.S., but also from around the world for digital imaging professionals. Going forward, I'll be sharing some of the top stories our readers are buzzing about each month. But for today, I'm excited to highlight the WIN top 10 exhibitors you should visit at the upcoming Printing United show in Las Vegas, kicking off next Tuesday. These recommendations are based on what's been catching the attention of our readers, so you definitely don't want to miss them. Hey, let's dive into the WIN top 10 list of exhibitors at Printing United 2024, and we'll include a brief mention of why the companies are mentioned, along with their booth numbers as well. The first company is Cutworks USA. They are showing for the first time in the Americas a unique XY cutter for the DTF market. It's manufactured by Neolt in Italy. As Sean's going to be talking about a little bit later, DTF is a hot market right now, and there's lots of focus in this area. The second company is the Durst Group Vanguard. The Italian-based Durst Group, along with Vanguard, an American company that Durst actually recently purchased, they won an amazing 13 Printing United Pinnacle Awards. Literally half of the output awards went to this group. Many of these unique printers will be on display at the show. Anytime you're at a show and you see the Epson booth, you want to stop by. Epson is expected to display their latest eco-solvent printers, dye sublimation, textile printers, but more importantly, they have 3 new products that they haven't announced yet. And these are under NDA. Unfortunately, I can't talk about them, but you definitely don't want to miss Epson. Having said that, though, yesterday they announced a new, very incredible product, a small UV printer. It's a little bit larger than 8.5 by 11. It's A4 size, which is the European size, but this unit retails for $84.95. And it's really aimed at the Etsy Soho market. So I think it's going to be very exciting to see this new product. Another company that is at the show in the UV space as well is a company called Ink Cups. Now, they're a unique company. They provide mostly UV printers, but their printers are cylindrical they print on glass, they print on wine bottles, on bottles, and they have some other unique UV technology. They're going to announce some new products as well at the show. Mimaki is always an interesting look. Mimaki actually surprised everyone earlier this week with 3 new press releases coming out about new products at the show. The first product is a 63-inch DTF printer, again, DTF theme. They are introducing 3 new print and cut devices, 35, 54, and 64 inches. And then they've got a giant 3.2 meter, more than 10 feet wide, dye sub direct-to-textile printers that they will be debuting at the show. Our friends at Muto made a major announcement earlier this week as well. There's lots of things happening this week right before the show, so it's been a really busy week for World Imaging News. They have launched a new 24-inch print and cut device. The Expert Jet 641 is a brand new device for them. It's their first entrance into the print and cut market. This market's been dominated by Mimaki and Roland, and so seeing them come into this market is very interesting. By the way, this unit lists for $69.95, so I think it's going to be a major player in the market. The next company I'm going to talk about, full disclosure, I worked as the VP of Sales and Marketing at this next company. Prism Inks is introducing a new product called Fusion Ink. Now, Fusion Ink is really important. They patented it, and it does both dye sublimation and DTF. So how does it work? You can use it for the same applications. You use either dye sub paper or direct to film, DTF film, and it prints for DTF. So I'm really excited to see how this product works and how it's received at the show as well. Roland always has a very good booth. You know, their branding is always on target. And they have a number of new products to be exhibited. One of these is the EU1000MF, which is a new UV printer. They have a couple of Versa Object UV printers, though, will be showing. Their Versa Studio desktop devices are great. They're smaller devices for the Soho and for the Etsy market. But one thing that they're doing is kind of interesting. Roland is going to be doing live demos where a user can upload an image from a smartphone and have it printed out to their BN2 print and cut unit. They use a software from Europe from a company called Anti-Grow Designer, and they have a new product called Sticker Builder. And so you'll actually be able to go into the booth and use Sticker Builder to make your own print and cuts. Ricoh DTG, and you're probably saying, why would we highlight DTG? Because it's been around for a while and there's not a lot of, well, some people would argue that there's not a lot of innovation, but Ricoh's done something really interesting. They have streamlined their process. They've actually put pre-treatment within the printer itself. So there's no need for a manual pre-treatment on the side. It's done inline right as you're printing the t-shirt. So the Ricoh DTG product is very interesting. That's the RI4000. The last company is a company, Caesar North America. Caesar is going to unveil their Pure HT. It's the world's first sustainable heat transfer material. Caesar spent over 5 years developing this product with an Italian university. And as you know, traditional vinyl manufacturing is toxic and the vinyl is not biodegradable. So you're going to see a lot at the show, a lot of sustainable movement in this area as well. and Caesar North America is leading this. By the way, Caesar is a subsidiary of Caesar Italy, where a lot of the development takes place. Our top 10 list only scratches the surface, and I know Sean would have some other booths that you should visit as well. But there's incredible amount of products on display, over 800 exhibitors at the show. There's something from everywhere, and even for old timers like me to emerging startups. If you would like more information on Printing United, the products, or to stay up to date on the latest news and trends, please go over to worldimagingnews.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter, Win Quick News. You'll receive industry insights delivered straight to your inbox. It's the perfect way to stay informed in just 10 minutes or less. And folks, that's the Win News. I'm Dan Barefoot, and until next time, stay healthy and keep smiling.
Wow.
Awesome.
He did all the homework for us.
Yeah. Really good stuff, man. You know exactly where to go. There, it's so cool. There's going to be so much there. And I love having Dan doing what he's doing. I've known Dan for a long time, and Dan's been, obviously, as you can tell, he's heavily involved in that side of the space, but now he gets to deliver it from a freeing perspective, right? He doesn't have to have a horse in the race. And boy, it's really awesome to watch him shine there. So super cool to see what Dan's doing. You definitely need to make sure that you're signed up over there at worldimagingnews.com. Great information, and excited. Terry, we are darn blessed to have such a amazing group of kind of news reporters. Just the coverage of our industry has been incredible. You know, with Dan in the fold, you got Apparelist, you've got DTF Printing.com, you've got Screen Printing Magazine, you know, always been the big player in the space. And so really cool stuff, Terry.
And impressions.
Yes. Graphics Pro, right? So we've been blessed in this industry to have really good people kind of keeping tabs on everything for us, and
being a part of our show.
Yeah. It was huge. I mean, I was getting all these emails, and all we were doing is just regurgitating. I'm like, why don't we just get it from the source? And they're all like, yes, let's do it. And we're like, thank you.
Exactly.
So,
and you know, Dan's report, I mean, a lot of inside information there that you have to be on the inside to know about all those things. So,
yeah,
although when he said Epson is introducing 3 new products, my eyes got a little big, thinking we're not allowed to talk about that yet.
Oh, well, Terry, it's just us. Dan said he was under NDA, but I'm sure you can just tell us, right?
Everybody else.
Yeah, do this. Just tell me real quick, Terry. I won't tell anybody. I promise.
Hey, I've made it this far. You'll have to wait a couple more days.
I know. He actually has not told me, and I'm a little upset, but that's okay. We'll still be friends, Terry. Awesome. Well, we've got some folks checking in already. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We got Kingsbury Craft. Good morning, listening in from Bremerton, Washington. Excellent. Thanks for tuning in. Ramona says, here to support the masses. Morning, fellas. Great. Thanks for being here. And Doug says, hi, everybody from very hot Los Angeles. How does that relate to Phoenix, Terry?
It was 114 yesterday.
Okay. So it's all relative, right? I think.
It's all relative.
I know.
But we're 1 degree away from being just hot.
Just hot, yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's a little bit more humid in Los Angeles, but yeah. All right. And then Doug is actually going to Printing United. So great. I'm looking forward to meeting Doug in person. And Rena will be there. I can't wait to see Rena again. Always fun to hang out with Rena. She's just an amazing person and always great to talk to. And we actually don't talk a lot of shop. Yeah, we kind of do, but we kind of don't. It's and then Mark White checking in from sunny Florence, Arizona. Excellent.
All right, Mark.
Yep, but like you in Glendale there, Terry, 9 inches of sunshine and no end in sight, right?
Yeah, it's coming down fast.
I'm telling your jokes now, Terry. I apologize. All right. Well, we've got before we get Sean in here, we're building up that anticipation for Sean's big entrance here. We do need to bring the dad joke. I believe that's why people show up. Probably not, but why not?
Definitely some people, and I think you have a pretty good one here.
Yeah, I think so too. So, we got Dennis checking in from Mauritius. All right. Thanks for being here. Wonder if he knows Stefan. Probably does. I imagine it's a small island. Our good friend who's from Mauritius, Stefan. Gosh, I just spaced on his last name. Terry, any idea? Mertens, right? Or
Yes, Mertens.
Mertens.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Close. I know I'm probably getting.
We haven't seen Stefan in years, but great guy.
Yeah, miss him. Hopefully he'll be at Printing United. He might be there. I'm gonna have to reach out. All right. So Terry, you ready for the dad joke?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. All right, Terry. So what kind of music do lawn care specialists listen to?
I don't know, Aaron. What kind of music do they listen to?
Motown.
That's pretty good.
Oh, thank you, Eric. I appreciate the help on the banner.
Eric, for our podcast listeners, Eric has translated that Motown, M-O-T-O-W-N, and also MOW-town.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we dive in, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We still need your voices. We would love to have the regulators participate in our show intros. So go to decorators.ink./intro and read a few sentences to be a part of every show. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys to book a future episode, or email us at info@tworegularguys.com with any of your show ideas. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. And we would appreciate you. Whoa, my outline is just going all over the place, up and down. Weird. If you're listening to the podcast version of the show, share it with your friends, as I said, and we would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, YouTube Podcast, wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. And if you're watching us live right now, please join in with your comments and your questions.
Yeah. Now, Terry, I bet you could do that without the outline, but I know how it goes. You got to have that baby blanket handy.
It was messing with my head. That was just going up and down and like, not touching anything.
All right. Can I also ask regulars one more favor? I know you guys are tuned in right now, the ones that are here live. If you're a podcast listener, certainly do the same thing, but make sure that you just take a quick moment and go out and share this with your network. There is so much good information. Dan already brought us a ton of gold, and now we're going to get Sean in here. And so we want to make sure that nobody's missing an opportunity to learn about our amazing industry that we're a part of. So go out and share for us, please. So with that being said, Terry, shall we get Sean in here?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's bring him in. Hello, Mr. Sean Stewart. How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good,
Awesome,
good.
Sean.
We abruptly drug you in here. So
You did something that I appreciate, and the kids in the print lab will appreciate too, because I literally get kicked out of there for telling dad jokes every day. I'll watch it.
Good.
So quick question, what does a mermaid use to wash its fins? Tide.
Go ahead. What was it? I missed the punchline.
Tide.
Oh, Tide.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, so if you've got give us a list, Sean. We'll bring yours. So Terry and I are kind of like pass them off, but we need help. So we appreciate.
Oh, don't worry. I'll see you in Vegas. I've got a whole list of them.
All right, I love it.
I just started next to all the ones that have had me kicked out of the print lab because I enjoy the books.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Sean, it wasn't terribly long ago. I was actually in your facility there, and but maybe listeners weren't tuned in, or just so we want to start. Just give people the elevator pitch of your background in the industry. You've got a very notable career, and you've been it's kind of in your blood now at this point. It feels like, to be honest.
Yeah, the only thing I haven't done is pushed ink through a screen, though I know it's a great technology and it's never going anywhere. I've always been on the digital side, so it did start out with the old paper inch iron-on transfers where you buy them, you print them on a regular old inkjet, and we weren't even at that time using heat stable inks. We're using old canning printers and stuff like that. So it's been fun to be a part of the evolution and really see where it's gone digitally from printing on transfer papers, printing on HTM, all the different vinyls, all the things like that. Now to DTF, direct to garments come a long way, though Terry's Brown will punch me in the kidneys. I still tell people it's in its infancy, and direct to film, printing directly on film is just a great way to bridge the gap digitally between the mechanical screen print process and the digital process.
Sure.
And all the die sub stuff. I did the wide format cut and sew die sub, which you got to see while you were here. We went through all that process, print, cut, sew, all that fun. So it's just been the evolution of digital is basically where I've stayed. I stayed in my lane, and I love what you guys do because we love to give that information away. A bigger brain trust gives you more information, right? And everything they've done through this, all their experiences coming together, it helps us innovate and find out what's the next step. So that's kind of where we're at now on the digital side of things with respect when we're talking about direct to film. Technology being in its infancy, it's been really fun to watch that grow and change. I've been there since more or less the inception. So
love it.
Well, Sean, it's a short history, but what's been the biggest change in DTF printing over the past few years, and how has that change impacted the industry?
I mean, a lot of it has been speed, efficiency, and right now the big thing for us is color and quality. So we've been working real hard on, testing and finding out what's the best powder, what's the best ink, what's the best film. How can we make this more efficient? How can we shorten our dwell time in the press? Making sure we're graded at 50 plus washes on all of the films and powders that we're using, things like that. And then the color extended gamut printing is one of the things we'll be showcasing in our booth at Printing United. We actually have taken and, more heads means a bigger brush, but it also means you can extend your gamut. So rather than just sticking to the traditional CMYK, adding red, green, blue, orange, things like that, building profiles. So instead of this is your gamut, we're out here. When we're talking about Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola's got a Coca-Cola Red. It's called Coca-Cola Red, and they got a big wallet. Well, you want to hit that red. If Coca-Cola doesn't like your red, they're not opening their wallet, right? So it's been a lot about having the right tool for the job and educating, teaching people there is a Kentucky windage way to get there, and then there is a tool for the job. If you actually want to get to the true end result you're looking for, there is a way. It's just about knowing which tools to use, what colors I'm going to need in order to achieve that. In some cases, we've got customers that go, this is absolutely imperative. I need to hit this purple and this gold. How do I do that? Okay, well, to actually hit that, you can take a spectrophotometer, write the color, and find out exactly what ink set you're going to need in order to reach that color. So it's a lot about education. And I mean, as things grow, as you guys know, they grow, change, get better, faster, and stronger. And that's kind of where we're at. But you guys will see at the show. I'm excited to show you guys what we got with that new 6-head 9-color printer. So it's actually got the CMYK, RGBO, and the white. And very cool stuff. So.
All right. Awesome. Look at him go, Terry. He's just giving away information already.
That's me, baby. I started coming on here. It was obligatory. It's obligatory.
Obligatory. I love it.
Cutting solutions too for you guys. So when you come in, you'll see kind of we're in the apparel zone as well, where we'll be showing actual kind of a mini factory setting where we're running through printing, cutting it, pressing it. Here's your finished product, and here's how much we can do in a given time window. Right. So.
All right. Perfect. Well, okay. Let's go back a little bit though. Okay, that's what we're kind of looking ahead to, or that's kind of what the changes are happening, right? We can put away the gum wrappers and the paper clips and the MacGyver style stuff. There is a tool for the job. I appreciate that, right? And the fact that that's come such a long way in such a short time, I think that's really cool. I know, and I still hear this today because I don't have a horse in this race, so I get to have these conversations openly with people. They're willing to tell me things about, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, right? And I still personally, and I don't know if they actually believe it to be true. They've just heard it somewhere, and so they've decided that the feel of DTF transfers is not good, right? So are you still seeing that, or how's the resistance to that kind of played out over the last couple months?
Again, kind of goes into the education of the customer. I mean, if you understand the technology and you can cater to the technology, you'll see some of the samples that we'll have in the booth. I mean, if you prepare your artwork properly, it feels like butter on the shirt. If you take and you put a 16 by 20 on the front of a shirt, or let's say 15 by 19, because a 16 by 20 be edge to edge on most people's heat press, you take and bang that on a shirt. If you haven't limited your ink as far as you possibly can and got it where you're putting down only what's absolutely necessary to get it on the garment, it's going to feel like something on the shirt. But anything would. I mean, if you're putting a square on a shirt, in most cases, without dye sublimation, if we're not gassing into the threads, there's going to be you're putting it on top of, not into the thread. So there is a hand and feel inherently in all of the transfer processes. So it's there. It's about catering to the technology, and it's about limiting your ink and building a profile in your environment so you're not flooding out the coating of the film and putting down more than you need, because less is more with the transfer process.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
You know, Sean, I think it's also it's kind of like I tell my screen printing classes. There are lots and lots and lots of screen printers. There aren't very many really good screen printers, and it's the same with DTF. If you don't do it right, yeah, you're going to turn some customers off out there, and they're going to think, well, all DTF transfers are like this. But you're 100% correct. You know, it's just, you know, I guess it's kind of like when DTG came out. Everybody thought there's a magic button. You know, all I do is push the button, and I make hundreds of dollars. There's not as much of a learning curve, but there's still a learning curve. You know, you need to kind of experiment, test, you know, try some different things. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and like, again, I always say, I mean, Aaron's probably sick of me saying there's a tool for the job and all that, but there is. In the software side of things, people are understanding what DTF is and seeing, you know, what people are doing with it, the money that's being made, and the ease of use once you're actually trained and understand it. So the software side is following quickly. I mean, there are some softwares out there that are more or less built to cater your artwork. Some novices can go in and not just the click of a button like you were talking about with when DTF or DTG came out. I was like, oh, here's the easy button. It's not that easy, but we're getting there. I mean, on the software side, to cater your artwork over to a certain technology is something I've been preaching about for almost 20 years. So they're getting there where you've got near easy buttons with some of the different plugins and macros available for Illustrator and CorelDRAW and stuff like that, which they'll all be there. I mean, I'll be running around kicking tires and lighting fires and all the software boosts because I want it. I want my customers, they don't buy a shirt, they buy what's on it, right? Well, if your customer can easily give them what they want, they can easily sell a shirt.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, oh, I bought something and it's going to print money. You got to go out and get those sales. But if you know how to cater to your technology and give someone a great product, it's going to be pretty easy to sell, right?
Yeah. Terry, I'd laugh about the easy button thing because I feel like that might be our fault, to be honest with you. When the T-Jets were out, do you remember that? We had an easy button in the booth.
We did have an easy button in the booth. I forgot about that.
I apologize, industry. That's on me. My bad.
It all comes full circle back to me and Aaron.
Well, that's why you give away so much information. Again,
that's right. We have to pay for our sins.
You know, Sean, this is something that I've seen out in the industry, especially with screen printers. Screen printers are the first to say, I don't think I like DTF. But the end user, the customer, is perfectly fine with it. It's like the screen printers went kicking and screaming. The customers are like, oh no, this is awesome. I love this. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, it's funny. We actually, at the Apparel Summit in Nashville, we did a case study, and one of the quotes we used was from a very big screen print shop that was like, no, I'm not doing it. That's trying to kill me, this, that, and the other thing. But the unfortunate thing, and it's great for me, is the reality is you have to have that tool, because if you go down to the street and there's a wrestling coach that happens to have a manual press in his garage, but he also has a DTF machine, he says yes to that customer, you may not see him again. So it's not diversify or die, but you need to offer it. I mean, you need to have that offering, because a lot of people, big screen print shop isn't going to want to do a 6 or a full color process, 4 color process screen print job if they just clean the screens for 3 more shirts, but they can hit print digitally. And then that customer is satisfied and very happy. So yes and no. Some of our biggest customers were big screen print shops that said no, and I was just kicking their door down enough that finally they said yes, and now they have multiple machines. So
yeah,
I do believe it's something. It's a tool that every big screen print shop should at least be looking at.
Well, you know what I say to screen
last year, they are now. I'll say that.
Yeah, what I say to screen printers is, on that red 100% polyester shirt, there's no dye migration with DTF, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
For anybody who's not a screen printer. Dye migration, for anybody who doesn't know, is the dye in the polyester or man-made fabrics actually releasing and floating in your ink and turning that beautiful white print to pink, and it's the scourge of screen printing. So this is the solution. But Sean, I think we kind of glossed over just a little bit the extended color gamut. Could you explain a little bit more, why that's important, what it actually means?
Sure. So when we're talking about a CMYK ink set, and you build a custom color profile using a nice spectrophotometer, X-ray, you've got all the right tools, you can only mix those 4 colors together to get so many colors. And I'm not going to sit here and mix them all together and try and figure out what all those colors are, because again, there's a tool for the job. But you're looking at between 300,000 and 400,000 colors in your gamut. So which would be like a triangle that shows you all the colors that you can hit on. Now, if you're trying to hit a color that's outside that gamut, what'll happen is it'll go, okay, it's out here. It's going to come to this point inside there. That's as close as you can get without seeing banding or having any issue modeling in your color. It'll give you a nice smooth color, but it's not the color you're trying to get. So extending that gamut by adding like red, green, blue, orange, violet, there's a number of different colors you can add in there. Ours personally right now is red, green, blue, orange. That'll give us up to almost 600,000 colors. So we're nearly doubling the size of our gamut and the number of colors that we can hit digitally without any issue. So basically, extended gamut is adding more colors so you can mix and get more colors.
All right.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to kind of think about that, right? Like you would just think, yeah, CMYK, you're good, right? But yeah, like you were talking about earlier, Coca-Cola Red's Coca-Cola Red, and they're not going to accept anything else. And if you don't have that capability, then they're going to go to somebody who does. And so I think this is a cool technology.
Well, and the other side of that too is, so Coca-Cola probably owns the spectrophotometer. They'll actually read the color and go, this needs to be this value. A lot of times you can use Kentucky windage. I know Aaron's heard me say Kentucky windage a million times in this industry too, because I've taught about color, and color's a nightmare. I mean, it is really difficult to explain to people and show them. Yeah. If I can't show them, these are the colors, this is what it mixes, this is how you get there. You have to show them, well, play Battleship. Print out a color chart, Coca-Cola Red. If it wasn't actually Coca-Cola and they didn't have the tool, you put all the reds in front of them, they pick it, you go into your software with the eyedropper. This is the CMYK and RGB values that are going to give me the closest rendering of the color that they want. That's Kentucky windage. Does that work? In a lot of cases, it will. But when you're talking about a big opportunity, a Coca-Cola or someone like that, they may have that tool and they'll go, no, you're not there. It's not right. Yeah. Even though our eye cannot translate or see that, we don't notice the difference with the naked eye, but they have the tool and they're very proud of their product. So if you don't hit their color, you're in trouble. So there's a way to get there. You just need to know how to get there.
Sure. And it's not just the big companies, right? The schools, I mean, colleges, things like that, but even North Carolina blue and you've got different things like that, Tennessee orange. So I think really kind of there we go. Eric got Kentucky windage in there for us. He's a noun, a windage correction made by aiming a firearm right or left of target rather than adjustment of the
sights. You got to walk it in, Eric. Got to walk it in.
Thank you, sir. Perfect. So no, I think this is a really good point that you're making, Sean, that people need to be thinking about this regardless. Oh, I don't do work with big companies, right? You could change, people will want, like, I've got our success group, we've got blues and there's a certain blue and I kind of like that blue, right? So, I'll take something that's close, but I prefer my blue, to be honest with you, right? So,
more of an indigo, I think.
And if somebody hits it dead on, that's where you're going to go back to. So.
Absolutely. All right. And Jan, I see your questions. Great questions in there. We will get those in front of Sean here in just a little bit. And also good morning to Cindy King. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's take a quick breather here real quick. I've got a little promotion about our Facebook group, and then we'll come back and we got plenty more questions for Sean. And you guys that are tuned in live, please bring those questions for Sean as well. So Eric, whenever you're ready. Hey, business owners, have you lost some of that spark in your business? Or maybe you love what you get to do and you want to share that joy with others. Either way, the Entrepreneur Success Hub is the community you've been looking for. In this group, we believe that every question is worth asking and your voice matters. Whether you're facing challenges or ready to celebrate successes, we've got a space for you to learn, grow, and connect with like-minded entrepreneurs. Join us for weekly video shows like the Rising Tide Talks and Small Business Saturdays. Also, get the latest announcements for our webinars and other educational content, all designed to help you fall in love with your business all over again. Plus, in the group, we've got fun challenges like our gratitude challenge and other resources to keep you inspired and focused on what matters most. Plus, you'll be part of a growing community of supportive business owners who understand what you're going through. Get into the group, be engaged. This is your space to ask questions, share experiences, and rediscover the joy of entrepreneurship. Head to osg.link/group and join the Entrepreneur Success Hub today. Together, we'll fall in love with our business and achieve our goals. Awesome. Well, if you haven't checked out the group, make sure you get over there and join us. It's growing, and just get engaged. If you are in the group and you haven't commented lately or asked a question or put anything in there, please jump back in there. We'd love to keep those conversations going. And
after the show, not right now.
Yeah, yes, good point. Thank you.
We'll talk to you.
You can open a new tab and after the show. All right. So let's, you know what, Sean, do you mind if we get to Jan's questions here first, and then we'll get back on track?
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. All right. And you know, best you can, we'll see what we can do here. So Jan's first says, late to the party, but what can I do as a Corel user in creating my artwork for DTF? Color profiles, etc., still getting to me. Just had some navy blue that did not work to my advantage. I want to know what I'm doing on my part. And then I think that these kind of all work together, Sean, so we'll let you handle them all at once. Jan says, what are the questions I need to be asking my vendors about the transfers? How do they prepare the print, right? So she's outsourcing to, you know, a place like Transfer Depot, for example. And so what are those questions? So go, Sean.
Well, so again, we're going to go right back, and Eric's going to get excited because I'm going to say Kentucky Windage again. So if you're using a secondary printer, you've got someone that's contract printing for you, and the profile that they've built is their profile. It may be color accurate. Your monitor may not be, I mean, whatever it is, make sure when you're saving from Corel, you're not having it embed the profile, and save a blue, send it to them, have them print it, because proof is in the pudding, right? So they send it back to you, you put it in front of your customer picks it, go back into Corel, use the eyedropper, and name that color for that customer. You can name colors inside CorelDRAW on your color palette. So if you take and use the Battleship or Kentucky Windage, where you have whoever your source is that's printing those transfers actually print you the transfers, and then you press them, because proof in the pudding is something that Aaron's probably sick of me saying again, because I say it all the time. The finished product is where that color is done. Anybody can say they're heat stable and there's no change at all, but the reality is until it's done, it's not done. So finish the product, let them pick the blue, and then you name that blue inside CorelDRAW. You go in with your eyedropper, have that file saved as a CDR, put your eyedropper on it, write the values down, name the color. Then anytime that customer orders, pick that color and they'll get the blue they want. The only other way to go about it is to have actual quality control in-house, build your profile, then you know what you're working with. But if you're using someone else, proof is in the pudding, get the stuff to you, you know, have a design in Corel that you can go into and pick that color out. And that way, you have to basically reverse manufacture that color, but you didn't have to buy the $30,000 setup and the tools to build the color in your house. So you're keeping your hands clean of the printing and you're controlling the color.
Yeah. Perfect. Love it. And that Jan says, talking about Kentucky Windage, like taking a shot at a color. That's exactly what he's talking about. There we go, Jan. So, okay. Our next question for you, Sean, here is, maybe there's people that are new to DTF. I would say, based on where we're at and the infancy of it, like you said, still, there are quite a few folks that are new or beginners, toddlers, so to speak, right? So, and even like Terry was talking about earlier with the screen printers saying, oh, this isn't great, but the customers are just fine with it. Perceived value is something that's really important in our industry. And you know this, right? But the print versus actual cost to produce, like we could get really crazy with stuff. And like you said, colors and all that stuff. But so how do you recommend people find that balance of perceived value versus actual print cost?
I mean, I do a lot. You know me on the mixed media stuff. Perceived value is something I
Yeah.
say all the time. I mean, you take a transfer. If you're buying transfers, like we were just talking about, if you're buying transfers, you're buying generally a square foot of. So you take and you make and put everything you can in that foot. Do the sleeve. Do a back print. You know, it's an extra hit. It takes an extra 5 seconds in the press.
Yeah.
You know, you put 2-3 pressings on something, and your actual cost in that is the time it takes to do it. Because that square foot, you were probably just going to cut off a square foot and you got just the front of the shirt on it. Well, now stick a left chest, stick a sleeve in there, press it a couple more times, and each pressing you should be getting a couple more bucks out of that shirt. So you can ramp that up. You don't want to fight a screen printer. I mean, when we're talking long run stuff, this is still a short to medium run situation in most cases. I mean, unless we're talking something with crazy colors that in order to push ink through a screen, I'm not going to be able to get what the customer wants. The screen print process is still, I say, over 72 shirts, 144 for sure. We're going to take and screen print that stuff because our cost is going to be lower. I mean, in most cases, even if we're outsourcing, we can print a full coverage square foot of printing. You're under 70 cents as an end user that owns a system. As an end user that's actually, or owner that just has a heat press and is buying it, the market is right around between like $2.50 and $3.50 or $4 a square foot. So it's figured out in there, where do I need to get as far as how much am I selling each month to justify purchasing that piece of equipment so I can bring my cost down to 70 cents or less a square foot, right? So it's about growing right and sleeping well at night. You go and buy a $30,000 system with $34,000 in your bank account, you're not sleeping so well unless you got a whole bunch of business to keep that thing printing because you need to make that money back, right?
Yeah.
So the return on investment and good sleep is pretty much how I justify things in my life.
I love it. I love it. Good sleep.
You know that open space on those DTF transfers, just drop in your logo over and over again. You can put it on hats, put it on whatever, and give them away. So
how do you think I've got so many
I think a lot of that is going to start happening a whole lot more with some of the innovations when we talk about being able to cut things, having, you know, if we take and we do that, I'm not trying to give anybody carpal tunnel. That's what, when I got away from doing print, cut, weed, mask, apply, the big joke for me was now you don't have to get carpal tunnel weeding stuff. And now I'm going to take and have them cutting everything. So with the innovations and when we have cutting stuff, like we got an epilogue laser that'll be coming along. There's flat bed cutters out there, like Dan was talking about, the XY stuff. Once we make that stuff so much easier in that realm, people will be cramming every single thing they can in a square foot printing. I can promise you that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Aaron, you mentioned people new to DTF. I was talking to Johnny Shell recently with Key Point Intelligence, and he said their research says that DTF is on pace to grow 40% per year for the next 5 years. I mean, let that sink in. 40% growth per year is, wow. I mean, we'd be thrilled at 10%.
Absolutely.
You know, 40% is just incredible. It's an incredible number. But you mentioned mixed media. What are some creative ways decorators can use mixed media in their designs?
Well, I mean, there's always the foils and things like that. You know, if you're doing dye sublimation, you can always throw DTF on top of that. And when you're using more than one media, even though dye sub like a cut and sew, which Aaron, you've seen, Terry, you haven't necessarily seen what we're doing here with the cut and sew stuff, but when you take and do a cut and sew, it's just a perceived value, even though we're adding a transfer, which in our eyes, if we look at it, we know these technologies, dye sub is there forever. We're adding something that's not there forever and ever like dye sub is, but it's a perceived value. You're putting something else to it. The customer understands there's something more going into it. As much as I hate them, even rhinestones, things like that, working those in, that's adding something. Listen, there's a lot of dance and cheer mobs and stuff like that, and I love them. God bless them, and I work well with them. But it's not something I want to necessarily do or wear.
You're not wearing a lot of rhinestones these days, no?
Not so much. Maybe I'll put a couple on my shirt for the show just for you.
Just to sparkle it up a bit. Yeah, I like it.
You know, it's funny. I think for the last 20 years, people have been saying, you know, rhinestones are over. They've even stopped saying it. Everybody's finally just said, okay, it's here forever.
It's here to stay.
We're not going to stop cheering. We're not, that's not going to go away.
Yeah, I think that mixed media idea is so cool. Actually, I helped out a friend of mine locally here Terry, a friend of ours. In fact, you know her too, Sean. Andrea Bomarito with ZSK. And they've got a really cool thing. And I'm not sure if I'm giving away stuff. So I didn't sign an NDA. So if I get in trouble, then I'm sorry, I won't do you a favor again. Anyhow, yeah. So they just needed some stuff, and I happen to have a DTG in my basement. It was like I need it tonight kind of thing. And they've got a system where it's a camera system where it'll shoot that. So, DTF, DTG, whatever, and then camera system shoots. They're going to then stitch to that design without having to worry about where they hoop that up. They could do it with rhinestones. I mean, yeah, I think Eric always talks about the depth that you get from embroidery and stuff like that. So you can bring all those tools to bear and increase your perceived value without the massive cost increase that goes along with that massive perceived value increase.
And don't forget name drops. I mean, however something's decorated, rather than cutting and weeding, you could certainly print out a whole list of names, cut them apart, heat apply them, and wham bam, you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and that's huge too. People love that, and that's customization. When you're putting someone's name to it, that how much more apt are they going to be to pay a little bit more for it? We actually did an event just to show it for content purposes and to show our customers more than anything. It wasn't out there trying to kill it. We went to a soccer tournament and took one of our smaller, the 17-inch 2-head, and put it in a trailer, ran it off a generator, and we offered to put their last names on it. Come back at the end of the day if they came. It was a soccer tournament. The kid, and they're paying an extra $5, and there's an extra 40 cents going in.
Yeah.
So it took a minute. We had to hit print, cut it off, put it in the press, and press it. But that's an extra $5 a shirt. So
yeah, love it. Jan Callahan says, I make a lot of money a year working the mixed media game. Since embroidery is my thing, I've already been working in some DTF with it. So there you go. Love it.
Yeah, awesome. Love that. And I've said this for 20 years. I've sold hat presses for 20 years, and I've told people to use it for doing tagless inside their shirts. If I've ever bought a hat, it's always had embroidery on it. I promise you. Every hat I've ever owned and bought. I mean, can you do DTF on hat? Sure. And can you make it look nice? Yeah, but do I want an embroidery like that feel on a hat? Yeah. I mean, that's how you do it. So embroidery is the right tool for a lot of jobs. And again, makes me people love it.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, Sean. So a lot of regulators are smaller, solopreneur type companies. And I want to ask, for them, how can they stay competitive? I mean, this is obviously, as you're talking about, Terry knows it very well too, a very quickly evolving landscape, with all these new technologies emerging. What's something that a smaller shop should be kind of thinking about so they stay competitive in this space?
So I've said this for a long time too, not saying no. I mean, they've got resources like you and Terry, right? So if there's something they don't have and they need a way to get it done, pick up the phone, find somebody, get it done. Tell your customer you'll get right back to them. Always be honest with your customer. Under promise and over deliver. If you do it the other way around, I mean, that, word of mouth is still, especially with social media and everything these days, word of mouth is still the most powerful tool there is, period. I mean, a reference, someone saying, Aaron has been awesome. I've known him 20 years. Talk to this guy holds a whole lot more weight than whatever, you put out in ads on Facebook. Whatever, right? So,
absolutely.
I would just suggest that somebody find the tool that is going to best suit what they're doing. What's their biggest market? We were talking about like Coca-Cola. I've had customers that had to justify buying this new system for that single customer, and it was more business than they had in all of their business over the last 2 years. So it's just about recognizing your opportunities and taking advantage of the resources and talking to and the education. I mean, the people, you have resources, you have people you can talk to, go out and ask the questions, and make sure you're asking the right people. You've got a good community. You guys have built a good community, put a lot of resources there, and that's one of the things I love you. You've always been putting that stuff out there. As long as I've known you, even when we were, in the same sandbox playing with the same tools, there was still, some great camaraderie, and it's all about the education. There's enough sand in the sandbox. Find the right people, work with people that you enjoy, and do things that you're passionate about. Like I'm into sports, so I could sell a whole lot into the sports world, but when it comes to rhinestones and dance studios, you're not going to see me standing there banging on the door, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly it. Exactly it. Terry, what he was talking about at the beginning of that too was also, indicated to me it's the time in the show where we tell people do good work, deliver on time.
You're thinking the same thing. I was going to say, all I heard was do good work, deliver on time.
See, I'm telling your jokes again, Terry. I'm sorry. All right. They're just so good.
There's one other thing, Aaron. I didn't even mention this. So we were talking about mixed media, and it popped into my head, and before it goes away.
Yeah.
One of the other things we will be showcasing, we're talking about DTF for garments. We do also do the AV film UV DTF stuff. And we're working with a bunch of epilogue dealers, great companies that we're working really well with, the dealer network and stuff like that. There'll be some really cool showing the color with laser engraved stuff. And so you do a plaque and you engrave it, and then you take and you put a UV, because that stuff's kind of got a raised feel and the adhesive is very aggressive on it. Now you're adding the color element to what was just an engraved plaque before. How much more are they going to pay, and how much? I mean, you're not putting a whole lot more into it. So just another mixed media. That's all. We can go away from that now.
Yeah, cool. I was putting my pen up there because that is your UV DTF. It's hard to see, but I mean, it's on my pen that I use every day, and it's still there, no problem. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I wore the "Don't talk about it, be about it" to the gym this morning. Actually.
All right, I like it.
So next week is Printing United. You've mentioned a couple of things. So what are we going to see in your booth? What are you guys showing new?
So the apparel zone is actually, we're going to have 20 feet there. We'll kind of have a small factory type showing start to finish. Here's your artwork because that's something I've always loved to show, from software to substrate, letting people really wrap their head around it. And we'll be doing kind of a small factory in the apparel zone, and then directly across from it in SL 5283 is literally directly across the aisle from the apparel zone. We'll have an inline 20-foot. So we'll have a number of 4-head printers, some 2-head printers, a UV printer, some cutting solution. It's going to be exciting, a lot of fun. But the biggest thing will be our new Hydra 6-head that's running the extended gamut with CMYK, red, green, blue, orange, and white. And we've kind of gone away from, it was all about speed last year. Now it's more about quality for us. These things will still run at 300 square feet an hour, but we're starting to get to a point where we got to make faster and faster dryers or longer and longer tunnels because these printers are going so fast.
Yeah.
So what we'll have there is actually called our Hydra 6-head. That's going to be the big thing that I'll be dancing on top of the whole show. So.
Yeah. Just like Dan was mentioning at the beginning of the show, I mean, I think this show is going to be the first show in a long time where there's going to be so many new things. Everybody needs to get out. And you, of course, you mentioned the apparel zone. You got to get by there. It's all education. There's no selling there. So if you want to see a lot of this stuff, go to the apparel zone and hang out. It's going to be a really exciting show. I can't. I'm really looking forward to everything but booth setup and booth teardown. Beyond that, I'm really looking forward to it.
I've got neither of those things. Sorry.
Yeah,
fellas.
Aaron's really smart. He's figured that thing out pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I'll be there the day of the show with a couch.
That's right.
I'll admit, about 40 years ago, maybe 45 years ago, I remember screen printing, late at night, and I had Scott Fresner's book there, How to Print T-Shirts for Fun and Profit. And I remember saying, this guy has it figured out. He doesn't do it. He just tells other people how to do it. It took me about 30 years to figure it out for myself.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, before we let you go, if people can't make it to Printing United, where can they find you? How can they reach out to you to get more information?
I mean, info@AmericanPrintandSupply.com, Sean@AmericanPrintandSupply.com, SEAN, like a good Scots Irish lad. We're here. Real easy to get a hold of me. Just email AmericanPrintandSupply.com.
All right. Perfect, Sean. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. And
I'll
can't
see
wait
you guys
to.
in a few days.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sean. Thanks so much.
Looking forward to it.
All
Thanks,
right,
Sean.
guys. See you.
All
Awesome.
right. Well,
That's a lot of great information.
yeah, really good conversation. And let's see here. So sorry, Eric, I'm pushing buttons. Hands off, my bad. Latricia says, will you be at Impressions? Sean, are you guys going to Impressions? Give me a thumbs up or not. I can see in the background, Sean, if you are hearing me. You don't know, in Fort Worth or Long Beach? We Eric, would you bring him back in real quick? I'm sorry. Sean, sorry. Are you guys
Yeah,
going to be?
We're not. We're doing the Indianapolis show and the Charlotte show to wrap up our year. So you can
Okay,
check
all
us
right.
out there as well.
All right. Are you going to be in Long Beach in the beginning of the year?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I will not be either. So bummed to miss them this year, but we just couldn't work it out. So all right. Sorry, put you on the spot
Thanks,
there, Sean,
guys.
but appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be speaking in Fort Worth on DTG and DTF Printing, and I'm going to be exhibiting in Long Beach at Equipment Zone. So
cool. All right. Excellent. 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 Well, speaking of out on the road and exhibiting, etc., where can people come see you in person?
All right,
my
complete screen printing business course. Next workhorse class in Phoenix will be we're nailing down the date, but it looks like it's going to be middle of November, and we'll probably actually by next week's show I'll have that information together. And my next class in Chicago at Atlas Screen Supply will be October 12th and 13th. I'll be in the Equipment Zone booth, probably number 11 on Dan's list of 10. I'll be in booth SL 7125.
He had Epps in there. You'll probably hang out there a little bit too. Yeah.
And so anyway, and then of course, Aaron and I are going to be doing our show live on Tuesday morning in the Apparel Zone. Probably not a full show. We're going to be recording some interviews there from 9:30 to 10:30. So come on by if you're in the show and let us chat with you a little bit. I'm going to be talking DTG and DTF Printing at Impressions Expo in Fort Worth. That will be October 24th through 26th. And I guess I need to start filling out 2025. But watch for all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com. How about you, Aaron?
Quit saying 2025, Terry. We're not there yet. We're not even to Reggie season yet. Pump the brakes, brother. No, really good stuff.
Football season started last night, though. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, we were at a restaurant, and yes, and when everybody started cheering, I'm like, all right, time to go. I just don't care, to be honest with you. So
I care enough for both of us, Aaron.
I know. And see, that's why I said, Terry's going to care enough for both of us. I'm good. I can go on to something else. No, I'm glad to see everybody excited, even though it started off a little rough, but they got right back to it. It looked like. So for those of you that are Chiefs fans, if you're a Ravens fan, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I am celebrating a pretty big milestone coming up here on Friday the 13th. I was actually born on Friday the 13th, and I guess it's the way it works with the calendar, but I will be turning 50 on Friday the 13th, next Friday. And just at this stage of my life, I just am super blessed to be working with a ton of amazing small businesses. And one of the things that I get to do is host this in-person event. We had the one in June and still getting raving reviews about it. And people are already clamoring for this October event, just as an opportunity for business owners to clarify, get clarity on what I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit, find more fulfillment, build a business that they truly love, right? You turn that I have to go to work each day into I get to do this each day. So this is kind of my why, my purpose. Terry knows that, right? I light up when I talk about this stuff. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to do something crazy here. I am going to say, you name your price. All right. So this is a $1,600, $1,597 is what we normally charge for this event. I want to make sure that people have this opportunity. So whatever your budget will allow, that could be zero, that could be more, whatever. If you go to this link, osg.link/birthday, you can come to this event. You just get there, travel, food, lodging, take care of that. We'll take care of the rest, and just choose a registration fee that fits your budget. So that's my birthday present to me, because I get to work with more people that way. And this is deeply meaningful to me. So I hope people take advantage of this opportunity. This will be only for this next week. So if you're thinking about it, you've got questions about the event, you're not sure if it's right for you, please reach out to me. I'm not scary. I'm fun to talk to. I'm easy to talk to. I promise. So yeah, that I wanted to share that real quick. As you mentioned, Printing United, we're obviously talking a lot about Printing United. Evelyn, thank you very much for your question there. Where it will be in just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, close to me here in O'Fallon, Missouri. So get into St. Louis, you're right here. We can even help you figure out how to get to and from and all that kind of fun stuff. So just come on out to St. Louis, Evelyn. We'd love to have you. October 10th through the 12th. All right. Back to Printing United. So I've got 2 seminars. So I get to host the media day on Monday, and I'm really excited about that. And then, like you said, Tuesday morning, we've got the podcast. Our dance card's pretty open. We intentionally left it that way to just see who's going to show up. So please, regardless, I don't care if you're a vendor, if you're a regulator listening, come in, say hi, tell us what's going on, tell us what you're doing, give us a little bit more information about you, and we'll get that recorded and we'll get that played on a future episode. So come see us there. I am teaching 2 classes, as I mentioned. First one's called Targeted Success, Finding Your Ideal Customer on September 10th. The second one is AI Marketing Mastery, How to Leverage ChatGPT for Business Growth, and that's on September 11th. So that's what I've got going on. I mentioned you heard about the Facebook group, so get over there and learn more at osg.link/group. Terry, will you share what Eric's got coming up here?
Absolutely. Check out Eric's latest article on the apparel list, Take Embroidery the Extra Mile with Special Effects. Head over to theapparellist.com to see the article on the front page dealing with special materials and techniques that can help your embroidery stand out. Check out Eric on Let's Get Printing podcast with Dak Durst. Is that? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Over at Deco Network social channel, wherein he gives basic tips on embroidery and digitizing. Nice. And join Eric for episode number. Are you ready? Episode number 200 of the Take Up. On this special episode of the Take Up, he'll review the top 10 Take Up episodes, honorable mentions, and things we've learned about along the way. Stay tuned to this episode for a special limited time treat for the loyal Take Up viewers. Catch up with Eric at 2:30 Mountain Daylight Time, right? Yeah. To ask your questions, just head over to ericcampbell.com. Click on the Take Up tab at the top to get the goods. Nice. All right.
I think my wife got me these. I just thought about this. I think my wife got me these to keep me from setting off the confetti cannons. I do feel like that. Okay.
Good call on her part. I think I see a little confetti over there on top of that plaque.
Probably so. All right. Well, you ready for some secret sauce, Terry?
Let's hear some secret sauce. I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Aaron Montgomery here. I am serving up a secret sauce, or as we talked about at the top, a recipe for success that will help you banish the fog and gain crystal clear clarity in your business. So the key ingredient is clarity. So imagine this. You're driving through a thick fog. You're disoriented. You're second guessing. Oh, where's that car in front of me? You're constantly stressed about what lies ahead. You're just gripping the steering wheel. That's what running a business without clarity feels like. It's overwhelming. It's uncertain. But if you lift that fog, now all of a sudden you can loosen your grip. The road ahead is clear. You're moving forward with confidence, and you end up arriving at your destination before you even know it. You almost feel unstoppable, right? That's what clarity does. It transforms confusion into certainty, hesitation into action, and stress into progress. Now, the recipe for clarity comes right out of my book, The Fundamentals of Business Success. And just like in the kitchen, if you were physically in a kitchen, the best recipes have a few key steps that you have to go in order with. So let's get cooking. Step number 1, you have to unlock your reason, right? My shirt says your reasons have to be bigger than your excuses, right? Reason, your why, whatever you want to call it. That's the base flavor. And your why, in this particular case, why are you in business in the first place, right? What drives you? What's your purpose? Without understanding your core motivations, it's like cooking without knowing what dish you're actually making. It's all just random ingredients thrown in together. And here's the other key, really quick point. Your why, your reason is more than just making money, by the way, but that we can talk about that later. Unlocking your reason really flavors every action. It guides all of your decisions. It helps you stay on track no matter what the challenge is. All right. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, set clear goals and season those with vision. Right. So we need to add a dash of clarity by setting clear goals. And this is like seasoning your dish. It's making sure you have direction and purpose, because without it, everything's going to fall flat. Right. And so once we understand and have a very specific goal, how much and by when, then we use what's called the VAST method to create a vision of success that's so vivid and detailed, you can almost taste it. Right. This isn't just a basic goal. It's the ultimate dish you're cooking up here. It should be very specific, engaging all of your senses and emotions and keeping you motivated as you work towards it. Then step number 3, and this is the great part about this recipe. It's a 3-part recipe. Action plan, step-by-step recipe. Now, every great meal needs to go in order. And this is where your action plan comes in. It's a clear, actionable blueprint that guides you towards your goal. Without it, you're just throwing ingredients into a pot and hoping something good comes out. But by breaking down your bigger vision into smaller, manageable tasks, processes, and ways of doing it that work for you, you won't be able to get there without that, right? So with each step, you're going to end up feeling more confident. And before you know it, success is there and you didn't even feel like you had to work for it. So my secret recipe for clarity gives you the steps. Making sure that you add enough of that secret ingredient, clarity, is crucial. How much time in your business right now are you working on your business, not just in it, right? That's a question you need to answer for yourself and answer honestly. And that's where the best clarity comes from, when you slow down, you look at the big picture, and you ask those why questions, right? Just like a master chef, when you combine these key ingredients, your why, your clear goals, and a solid action plan, you're starting to lift that fog in your business and you move forward with clarity and confidence and purpose, right? So if you are ready to cook up your own success, I do invite you to go over to our group, osg.link/group. Get engaged over there. Don't just come check it out and don't be a lurker. Get in there and you'll then start gaining more tips, resources, insights. Clarity is the foundation of progress, decision-making, and overcoming challenges. The clearer your vision, the easier it is to reach your goal. And I love to guide people towards clarity. So that's my secret recipe for success. Enjoy the sauce.
Awesome. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Stirring it up. All right. Well, great show today, Terry. We want to thank Sean for joining us today. And Sean, we will see you in a few days, buddy. I can't wait to get to see everybody in person. It's been a little bit. And also appreciate Dan joining us today, and looking forward to having Dan in that news rotation along with the amazing Cassie Green and Adrian. Why did I just blank on Adrian's last Palmer? Good grief. I could see it, but I couldn't get it out of my mouth. And Marcia Derryberry. So appreciate you guys being on there. And Impressions and Graphics Pro, if you guys want to join the party, just reach out.
All right. We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. And Eric will be co-hosting the show with me next week.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. And as you mentioned there, Terry, I'm leaving it up to the boys here. You guys will have an amazing show. And I'm taking the week off for my 50th birthday. I will actually be at a coaching class, a retreat for myself. I'm getting some coaching and growth myself. So it's always about learning and growing. And so I am sure you fine gentlemen will have an amazing show. Anything cooking, we'll get it out there and make sure that you guys.
We have a potential, but not ready to announce yet.
Okay. All right. It's a secret.
Probably this weekend we'll get it wrapped up, since I'm going to be tied up pretty much at the show. So
awesome.
All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.